Hey legends, welcome to the Connect podcast,
A no BS approach to connecting people
connecting businesses,
connecting communities.
and connecting successes. Connection is why we're here.
I thought you're all about the apron.
I
Do
know,
we have an
but
apron for
look,
you?
I'm sure we got one somewhere.
Take the shirt off, put the apron on.
You have another three, we'll wear it as well.
Finish the questions. Why are you scared of my questions?
It's because I don't think you know your questions before you're asking you.
And he sets you up. He goes, "Are you ready? Are you ready?"
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. How should a person show up as a leader to build an empire?
Being transparent and leading with my heart. The marketing team who sort of says, "No, Rami, you can't say that." You can imagine the things that don't make it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should do something about the
gonna
things that
say.
don't make it.
Release those. That's an uncut version.
Can we release that?
Yeah.
We've got the marketing team behind the camera saying no.
Connect, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's an extra special episode. We have episode 14, and we have an extra special guest with us today. And it was a long time coming, but we're happy to have him here. We have this special person that's created an empire. He's built restaurants in 40 locations so far, 200,000 weekly customers, 1,200 staff. He's built the empire from 1998, and right now it's boasting about 120 million. So we're here and we're welcoming Rami Ykmour from Rashays. Mate, thank you for coming on.
Rami.
Thanks for coming, Rami. One of our biggest guests for one of our last episodes of the year.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me.
Mate, we'd love to get into the beginning, and we usually start this off by asking where did it all start from. But this is a bit of a personal one for us because we all grew up with Rashays as a local name, and I know it was a restaurant that we used to kick back at all the time out in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Take us back to that. Take us back to where it all started.
You're at your first restaurant on, what was it?
Elizabeth Drive, actually.
Elizabeth Drive,
Yeah,
that's
so, mate, it's a long time ago, 1998. So we started building probably 97. Absolutely no idea about restaurants. Didn't have a clue. I just wanted to be in business. But the go was, look, the easiest business to get into at the time was to open a restaurant. So I decided, here we go.
So it wasn't for a love of food itself. It's just
I love a Liverpool.
Yeah,
or
love
the
of
area.
Yeah,
Love
area.
of the area, love of the people. That's
Yeah.
what it was, honestly. Love of the area, love of the people, community. That's what drove me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was sort of my motivator.
And it was the easiest business to start, you're saying?
Yes, because all I understood was I worked at Pizza Hut, so
Yeah.
I understood how to make pizzas. So I went, beautiful.
Yeah.
Pizzas, I want to get into business.
Easy.
There we go. Yeah, easy peasy.
And then what was your position in that particular restaurant? Like, did you play all the hats there, or did you how did that start?
But absolutely, I played every role, but I made sure we employed somebody who understood the front of house, what we call the front of house, so the waitressing and making the coffees and all the rest of it, and we employed a chef in the back of house,
Yeah, nice.
in the kitchen.
And that was a great restaurant. Like
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
remember going there with some mates and
Friends, family.
and
100%.
enjoying that. And then from there, Rami, you moved, or not moved actually. You opened a second location. Like, how long was it between, or that decision to make to move to another one and start something different in the same area?
Yeah, in the same area. So what happened was I got bored of like the simple food. So I thought I want to get into the fine dining. You know, I started making a little bit of money. So I started going out to the city, seeing a bit of fancy food. I go, hang on a second, I could do this.
And bring it to the West.
Bring it to the West.
Yeah.
Bring it to Livo.
Yeah.
And we did fine dining. You know, we did the prawns and and all this sort of stuff, and the gambari and the marinara pasta, and tried to do all the fancy stuff.
Anything you can microwave, eh?
Yeah, That's what it was. I should have called it microwave.
Look, there's a lot of you've got such a big menu, and I think the controversies come out because there's so much on the menu. Do you think, there's a lot of talk about the microwave, and I know you've done a couple of videos with that out there.
No, I think the controversy was that people stated that the food was microwaved, that it came frozen and it was microwaved. But I think you addressed it quite well on your social media, which has been quite powerful.
And don't you even do some audits on your own restaurants?
100%, mate. We go in there, look, like this microwave story, look, I'm loving it now. I might as well jump on board. I might as well make microwave shirts and fucking sell them, make a bit of money. Mate.
Well, you do have your uniform, which you're not wearing today. I thought you're all about the apron. Do we have an apron for you?
I'm sure we got one somewhere. Do we have an apron here?
We got
I think we
an
do.
apron. Oh, we got about.
Look at
it's all
this.
Legit. Okay.
Rami's not
Wear the
what.
apron because I'm happy to wear it.
Oh, whatever you like, man.
Look at this.
Take the shirt off, put the apron on.
You have another three, we'll wear it as well.
So Rami's now putting on
The Rashays apron.
For any of the Spotify listeners, Rami's putting on the apron, just like he said on his latest story. So check out his social media.
Look
So
at
what's
this.
the apron situation? Wait, you
Well-
know what? We'll get him to explain.
Look,
We'll get him to explain it after he puts on the apron, because that's a fancy.
Go for your life, man.
That's a fancy apron.
Look, I think he was more addressing that some people feel like they're above the uniform. Some people feel like they're above wearing an apron if they're told to wear it. I think that comes down to a generational thing.
There's a generational.
I
sometimes
think
ego and pride.
I think people now feel like they've got more flexibility to do things, and
Or
and
they
they've
can-
got.
This is your uniform, but like you should be.
But for
part
me,
of-
if I was told to do something when I was young, or if I was in a job role, I did it. You either get paid to do it, you get paid, you walk away.
Oh, it's not the way today, mate. You know how it is. You guys have got businesses, man. The staff run your business. You know, it is what it is, man. Yeah, the apron was just a man. Look, I was just out on social media saying, like, some of the staff don't want to wear aprons. Some of the franchisees don't want to wear aprons because they feel they're serving people. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you're doing, you know. You are in a service industry, and if you're putting your apron on, the way I look at it is the apron says to me that you're ready to work. You know what I mean? It's that discipline that, you know, you're starting to, you know, you're at work now.
Yeah.
Switch off, focus on the customer.
It's like when you were told when you were young, you know, dress for the job that you want to be in, not for the job that you want to have. Even if you don't have a uniform, right? You're always kind of leveling up to focus on that next role. And I think even having that uniform, having rules, it all kind of sets you up to be disciplined if you are deciding to go out into business for yourself, or you're deciding to do something and stepping up in the next role.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from the Liverpool Ventures, or did the fine dining work? Tell me about that more. Like, you went from Rashays.
The fine dining was a complete disaster, brother. I had absolutely no idea. You know what I mean? Like, it was the customer's expectation was here.
Yeah.
I understood, a little bit about it, and it was just way too complicated. And the customers, we couldn't meet the customers' demand, you know. And Liverpool was not the area that was ready for a fine dining restaurant.
The location,
So we bled a lot. We bled a lot in that restaurant, man.
But your second restaurant was only a few hundred meters down the road. Was that the second one, or was there a
Correct.
different location?
No, that's right.
So what was the thinking behind that? Because I know for me it was like, which one's more packed? The one on Elizabeth Drive or the one on Hume?
All right. So we got the Elizabeth Drive restaurant at Rashays, right? And we got the Euro, which is up on the Hume Highway, which is a couple of 100 meters away. Now, this one is bleeding, as I'm saying. You know, it's bleeding heavily. And one night I'm on the phone to one of my mates, and he says, look, why don't you change Euro to Rashays? And I thought, I'm desperate. So any idea is a great idea, right? When you're desperate. Any idea is a great idea. And I thought, bloody beauty. That's what I'm going to do. I remember calling my sign writer that night, and we changed the sign from Euro to Rashays the very same night.
Now that you say that, I do remember it was Euro, and I think I didn't go there.
Yeah.
Only when it changed to Rashays, I went there.
There you go.
So
There you go.
it
So
worked.
the reason
It worked.
It worked.
Ron's business.
I love how on the spot, that's such an entrepreneurial thing or a business owner thing where it's like, I'm here, let's just make it happen.
On the
just
spot,
do it.
the phone call would have happened about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the guy, the sign writer, lived up the road. I lived in Hoxton Park. He lived on the other side of Hoxton Park, Carnes Hill. And I said, you got to come over tonight. And he said, what do you mean? I said, we've got to come over. We've got to spray up a new sign, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't know how, whether we could say it on your podcast or not. Yeah, but he had a bit of a smoko and stayed up all night.
Whatever.
I got it.
You know.
And he misspelt Rashays.
Rosie's.
Well, how did that one go after we opened
Man, I'm
that?
telling you, we stayed there till about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I remember him getting paranoid during the night, and
Because it's going to look like in Liverpool you're graffiti.
Yeah.
The cop shop's down the road.
There's one line that sticks out for me that he said to my brother, stop looking at my ass. My brother's thinking, what? Nobody's looking at your ass. Anyway, sure enough, in the morning, mate, we changed the signs, and we grabbed a couple of menus from the Rashays site in Elizabeth Drive, and we took it to Hume Highway, and that's all we did.
Wow.
Same furniture, same plates, same everything, except we served the Rashays menu at the old Euro on the Hume Highway, and sales doubled within a week.
Wow.
And is that what started the journey into, hey, if I can do this at one location and through?
Yeah, wow,
Absolutely,
man.
Yeah.
absolutely. And that was I guess, the first light that went off. I went, hang on a second, we can do two restaurants.
Yeah, wow. Okay. What year was that in?
That would have been 2000, 2001.
So 3 years after you started officially, yeah.
correct.
How long did the transition take from Euro to Rashays in that location? Was it like
We bled in Euro for about 12 months, I reckon, before we decided, listen, we've tried every single move here. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And what's that feel like, Rami? Like when you know, like your numbers are going backwards. It must be so daunting.
You know, it's different. Like now, it's different. Like, you know, we've had our challenges now after COVID, but back then, if I could sort of go back a little bit, when you're young, you're a little bit stronger. You're a little bit more resilient. Like, yeah, it hurts. You go to sleep. You're thinking about it, but it doesn't affect your mental health, I think, as much. You know, I would have been 23, 24, maybe 25 at the time. You know, I don't think it affected me mentally. It's just like it was more of an ego thing that I wanted to succeed. It wasn't.
And you're still a bit of a hard ass at that age where you're kind of like everyone, right?
Yeah.
We still got that mentality where it's like dog eat dog kind of thing. Like you have to make it. You don't want to look like an idiot in front of your mates, in front of your network.
I wasn't like that.
Well, you say you're saying like it's more ego driven. Like
You need to.
I can't fold here. I got to make it work.
I can't fail.
You're not thinking too much from a business mentality, just from an emotional
Make it
mentality that you've got to make it work
Yeah,
because you've already started a business. That's work.
Yeah.
This is eventually going to work if I just keep
Yeah.
pushing.
And then you say like now, as you know, we're a bit more mature and later down the road, you feel differently about certain restaurants. Like when they're, I can assume that that's not the first time like that it's happened, right?
Well,
where a restaurant isn't going as well as you thought, right?
Yeah, look, it becomes a bit different. You know, like back then, there was no one. I wasn't supporting anyone. It was just myself, my girlfriend, or my wife, and you know, like so there was no one to support. There was nothing to lose. But now, when things go wrong, when things are harder, you're thinking of, you know, I've got 4 kids, so you're thinking, how is it going to affect your family? How is it going to affect, you know, the future of your kids? It's a lot more sort of, you know, a lot more
Pressure.
It's real pressure this time.
Man.
It's not fake.
And that's where I wanted to go into, because looking at these stats that I dropped at the start, it's like these will blow people's brains that are in small to medium-sized businesses. And first of all, well done to you for building that and going through the hard yards and the pain and whatever was involved in building it. But how would you cope with that pressure, man? Like it's like I guess it's just building a resilience and just getting stronger and stronger as you go. But there's a point where it's like, I'm so over it. I'm just tired. How do you deal with that pressure?
Yeah,
How do you work that? How do you get to these numbers going through all this pressure on a constant day-to-day basis?
And then you have your haters out there that
The haters is one thing. It's like haters you can block off and work them. But I'm talking.
But then you've
let's
got all of it,
business
all that
pressure, franchise pressure, staff pressure, family pressure.
and then shareholders. You've got other people involved. in
Yeah.
it as well.
How do you?
It's not easy, mate. I'll be honest with you.
That's why I'm asking the question.
It's not easy, mate.
get it.
It breaks you every day.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to reset every morning, and you got to like put the previous day behind you, and just look forward and try and you know a lot of self talk.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of self talk, a lot of putting myself like around my family to try and get a bit of I guess how can I say it. To remember what's the reason, what's driving me to keep going, it's very, very challenging, and people who've got businesses understand. You know, you've got staff that you've committed the wages to. We've got over 1,200 staff who are relying on your decisions. You've got franchisees who are relying on you making the right calls. So sometimes it can be quite. Sometimes it can be quite dark, mate. I'll be honest with you. It's not for everyone.
Yep.
And who do you turn to do you have a network of people that you turn to when you need advice yourself?
Or even like a mentor or coach? Like do you have a business coach yourself, or it's all self-taught?
Who's your
My network is my close team. We have a very close team. The way we work as a family in our business. So my wife hears a lot of it, she has to hear me when I go home. But my staff are very, very good, man. We've got people who are so loyal. I've got people who have been with us for over 10, 15 years who just, who are there, and I know they're carrying the weight as much as I'm carrying the weight. So that gives me a bit of relief, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Also, I guess you're the one that's always in front of the camera, right? You are a controversial person, right? You come out, and a lot of the things that you do say come out as misconstrued because the media, turn some of what you say and lose the message behind it and see the controversy in it. Do you have people that you have to then go answer to in terms of, hey, this is our business, this is our family, this is, we need to step away from that? Or are you left to your free reign to be able to do what you do?
I can't be told. I mean, that's part of the entrepreneur. I mean, mate, I just do what I want, and we got the marketing team who sort of says, no, Rami, you can't say that. I mean, you can imagine the things that don't make it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should do something
I
about
was going to
that
say.
don't make it.
Release those.
That's an uncut version.
Can we release that?
Yeah.
We've got the marketing team behind the camera saying, no.
That's a paid version of Rami behind the scenes.
Yeah, that would,
Only Rami.
yeah.
I mean, look, a lot of it is deliberate. I mean, you always in business, it's like a chess game or a poker game. You're always 5 or 10 steps ahead.
100%.
So you're saying something with something in mind, or you've got the next. So there's a reason for it, and sometimes that's what's hard because the social media aspect, if you want, they just hear one part of it. So recently, we're talking about the apron. The apron is sort of a hot topic, but there's so much more behind it. That I'm sending an indirect message to my staff. I was sending an indirect message to my franchisees, sending an indirect message to my customers, saying that how much we value servicing you. So there's so much more to it. But like what you said, when it's just listened to on its own, when you just listen to the Apron blog on itself, it sounds like it's
Surface level.
Yeah.
On surface level, it's just like a...
Well, you're doing...
It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah.
Well, you're doing a 30-second, 1-minute reel or a story or something. So whatever you want to say, you're kind of seeing that it's about to end. So you're trying to get your message out quickly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people are going to add their little points to it and add that little message to it as well.
Controversially, you've just been around to some of your restaurants and actually audited them. What's that experience been like to walk into a restaurant and have to pick it, to your standard?
Mate, my standard is so high. No restaurant can ever meet my standard. I'll be honest with you. So I have to dumb it down for myself. I have to always, again, self-talk and go, Rami, it's okay. It's not you doing it. Like my expectations are I'm OCD, I'm over the top, I want everything to be in its place, perfect. So, so I guess back to your question, you're saying how was the...
Yeah, when you walk into a restaurant, it's not to your standard or it is to your standard. Like, how does that feel? Are you proud of some and you're not so proud of some? Like,
it hurts my gut, mate. It burns. It's like a little child of mine, So
it is your baby. It's your baby that
absolutely.
that you've seen grow, and all of a sudden...
But every business owner can relate to that to a certain degree. It's like they've built this thing from scratch and it's your baby that you're handing off into other people's hands. No one's going to do it as great as you do.
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of acceptance and knowing that, okay, I'm not doing this, someone else is doing this. It's never going to be to my level, but I have to be okay with it to a certain degree, Like there's standards that have to be met.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I know, like it does break your heart when it's not to your standards.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, my focus here is on top line building business, strategizing and blowing this thing up.
So Ben, it's about like balancing it, just trying to understand their challenges as well, and just trying to, but it can be very challenging to accept.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Like if you're walking onto your franchise restaurant and I saw you picking the garden weeds at the front that you weren't happy with that stand. Like I take my hat off to you because it's you're putting yourself on social media to do so. You're not walking in and sugarcoating that everything's great. You're actually addressing some of the issues that this restaurant should fix.
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to you. And your character with it. But when we talk franchise, it's obviously a big step from going self-owned to then franchise level. Is that hard too in trusting? Because obviously in business, we've all got to a certain point now where, we're looking to scale as well, right? I'm trying to find other entrepreneurial...
And how involved are you in that part of it? Because are you leaving it to... are you part of each store? Or is some of them self-run where you've got no input? Are you part of everything?
No, we're definitely part of everything. So everything is controlled. We definitely... Otherwise, people will go like... Building a brand is about having consistency. It's about having the same experience for every customer. It's about having the same product for every customer. So we are definitely very, very involved.
Because then you could get people microwaving their meals at some store
it's,
locations.
just, it's just baiting the microwave.
Mate, to be honest with you, who's to say that a franchisee hasn't done it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not in every store.
Yeah.
But is that the company standard?
Yeah.
Is that the expectation? Is that what we deliver? No. But on the other hand, why would you microwave something when you could grill it? Like, it just does not make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. When I saw it, it doesn't make sense because it feels like it's more effort.
You know, like we have open kitchens, so any customer can walk
Yeah.
up and
Have a look.
Have a look. So it doesn't make sense, mate.
yeah.
It doesn't make. But anyway, it's we'll let the people continue with the microwave story, mate.
Being so customer focused like you are, you know, is it a challenging time to be in the restaurant industry? Now we've got like, I don't know, you have these shows on TV, right, where it's, you know, Master Chef and they're watching the meal and they're turning the thing to the side and tasting it and, you know, smelling it. Like everybody thinks they're a Master Chef now, right?
But also, like the cost of living is high, right? So
is that a challenge now? The customer's expectation on the actual meal itself
100%. So customers' expectations gone like
through the roof.
beyond belief, beyond belief now. All right. So when you have a restaurant chain, when you got 40 plus restaurants around the country and you serve 200 to 300 people a seat, every seating, you know, you cannot do what MasterChef does. That's not our customers. So a lot of customers come in and expect MasterChef food. We've come to the wrong place. You know, there is restaurants that are 40, 50 seaters and good luck to them, and they follow the trends and they follow the latest, you know, craze and all the rest of it. Good luck to them. That's not us. What we're about is we're about large served meals, comfort food that you regularly have. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to compete with MasterChef. And believe me or not, 80% of the customers out there, this is a big secret out there, 80% of people out there don't want MasterChef. All right? Yeah, you know, so we've selected our market and our market is keeps on backing us.
And going back to that, so how important does, you know, Google reviews and these community group reviews and, you know, social media reviews by influencers, how important is that to what you do?
Do you not care?
It doesn't affect our business. No, it doesn't affect us.
I think the brand has built itself as well.
Absolutely. The more hate we get, actually, and if you follow it, the more publicity we get, and the more people that jump on and go, "What are you talking about? I love this place."
Yeah, because you got your loyal Rashays. They go in.
It's funny because like there was a long time that I wasn't going to Rashays, but I used to go there a lot when I was younger. And then you see all this hate and you go, I don't remember it like that. So it makes me want to go back and then go, nah, it's still the same as what I remembered it.
Yeah. It's just people being weird
And
online.
do people get bad experiences at Rashays? 100%. You know, we're a business that relies on people. We rely on chefs. We rely on, you know, a chef can be going through a breakup. He could be going through a divorce. He could be, I don't know how to, you know, he could be going through anything. Mental health.
Well, what's the numbers that we said? 200,000 people. If
Customers through the door.
Every week. So you're going to, even if you get, less than 0.5%. That's still something. And when people complain, the first thing they do is jump on social media. The first thing they do is jump on Google. You know, they want to hurt the person or hurt the person that they think cooked their meal. And they just
And they think it's me. They think I'm everywhere.
Well, that's the other challenge that you have, right? Because it's the face of Rashay sits with us today. Yet it's not you at the back cooking in the thing, you know? Like, that's a challenge, man.
And they don't want me cooking, believe me. You know, it's funny, you know, in the industry, we actually have a 1%, like we acknowledge there's a 1% customer base that's going to be disappointed.
Of course.
So we acknowledge that.
Of course.
That's if you like a KPI for management. Yeah, because you're hand making everything and things go wrong, you know. I mean, you cook at home, right? How often does you or your partner get burn the food?
Fuck
it
off.
happens.
Never, bro.
Never.
I'm supposed to.
No, not my wife.
I'm supposed to be cooking once
Only
a
me.
month. It's not happening at the moment.
Okay, so we're building this business at scale. There's 1,200 staff. There's franchisees. How do you build that? How do you manage that? How do you sit with? Because I felt a lot of heaviness when you were talking about the pressure, and we can all connect with that to some sort of a
I've never seen you so vulnerable. That looked very vulnerable.
Yeah, because it's real. It's raw stuff, man. It's and like you can only imagine what the bloke pushes through. But how do you work this stuff?
System. Just systemize, make the systems as simple as possible, and don't try and keep on reinventing the wheel. That's a lesson that I cannot give. You know, just stick to a simple system and get people to follow it. So whether it's from your franchising fee, how much people need to pay for your franchising fee, to how people need to buy the product, like, how they purchase for their restaurants, how they serve your customers. Just keep it all very simple and very, very systemized. And then allow people to get into your head, because once a franchisee enters your business, for example, after 6 months, all of a sudden they know better than you. And it's important that you stick to your guns and say, even if you know better, present it. We'll take our time and we'll roll it out in appropriate time. Yeah. That's what's very important.
And so who's the one that goes out to deal with the wholesalers, deal with the food suppliers, deal with everything? Is that your contacts or is that a secret?
It's usually the executive chef who does that in our business. Executive chef, or we have a purchasing manager. So we have the two. But those relationships have started on the, from 20. What I love is I love being loyal to my suppliers, right? So most of my suppliers have been with me 20 plus years. So even so, my purchasing manager or my executive chef are in charge today, but I could still pick up their phone and at 9 o'clock at night and still call them. When you've been a customer for 20 something years, they still.
Of course.
Yeah. That's another secret, I guess. Be loyal. Yep. Be loyal to your suppliers, because your supplier puts up the price a little bit. It's not the end of the world. Let them. It's sooner or later you're going to get it back. You know what I mean? So think long term, don't think short term.
Yeah, 100%. So when you were building, when did the conversation or thought happen of starting the franchise structure? If we're going to go back, was it after the second shop, or were the first few shops all yours? What was the story there? How did that?
So we opened a second shop, and I had a bit of franchising knowledge I used to franchise Domino's. So I had 3 Domino's stores that I was a franchisee of. So I learned a little bit about franchising there.
Did you let go of Domino's after?
Let go of Domino's, yeah. So when things were really going well at Rashays, I thought Domino's, I didn't want to be a franchisee. I wanted to be the franchisor now,
Yeah.
So that's where it really started. When I got rid of my Domino's, which would have been in probably 02, 03. I got rid of my Domino's stores. Then I started thinking about how I could franchise, and then I went to different. Again, that was a massive learning curve, right? Because I went to different lawyers or different legal firms, different services that or different what do you call it? Different lawyers that said they could put together a franchising agreement. Yeah. But I realised that not all lawyers know how to do it. Yeah. So we spent a lot of money to eventually get to a proper franchising agreement. Yeah.
Would you recommend franchising your business? Knowing what you know now, the struggles, the pain, the wins, the losses, whatever. Looking back in hindsight.
Absolutely. Every time you make the right decisions for that time, like at that time, 100%. We wouldn't have grown to what we would. We wouldn't have 40 restaurants if we didn't franchise. That's 100%. We needed people to invest, to come into the business, to go into state. So yes, so franchising. I mean, it's not always great for your business, but at certain times it is.
And who decides on the locations? Like, is that something that someone will come to you and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about opening up here. Yeah, I'd like to,"
No, we do a lot of research. There's a lot of companies out there that do that go out there and sort of tell you the income of particular households. So they measure household income, nationalities. So there's a couple of companies out there, like GOT comes to mind. I don't know if you want to give them a plug or something, but they're the ones that do it. So they do like a bit of research for us, and they say, okay, we recommend that you go in area A, B, C.
But it doesn't always work out, right? Because and I'm in Mount Annan. I live in Mount Annan.
Yep.
There was a store there. There's no longer a store there.
Yeah.
Now, what does it take to go, okay, we might not have made this work? I don't know if you want to get into it too much.
No, look, I could be honest with you. I'll try and tell the short story. So Mount Annan is an unusual one because we got
Narellan right up the road,
just around the corner, right? But I had a franchisee who come to me and he said to me, I want to open Mount Annan. And I said, look, I don't think it's a great idea. You've got a store around the corner, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to quite work. He said, no, I don't want no one else, because he owned a shop next door. So he wanted to own that territory. And I said, look, and I said, it's only going to do A, B, and C. He said, doesn't matter. I want it. I don't want anyone else to come and open a store. So it was a bit of a favour for a friend. Yeah. That ended up in tears. Yeah. So be careful, right?
Yeah. It's not the same store owner as the next door, because I still go there.
Yeah, that person doesn't own that store anymore. Okay. So it's all good. So we could talk about it. Unfortunately, he ended up us not being mates. So it's quite sad. But it is what it is.
And look, there's going to be. I feel like going into business with mates, and I'm going through a business split with my mate at the moment. And we sat down last week, and he said, "Is everything good between us?" And I just looked at him. I said, "Mate, we're still going through the split." I go, "I'm going to feel like this for a bit of a time." I go, "We're going to get back to where we were, but right now, I want to jab you in the face." Like the amount of work that it's created for me is a lot, and it's hard. It's hard.
Partnership is so hard. Like I saw my dad. Like my dad had a business. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I saw my dad split up with his business partner. And I was only like 8, 9 years old, and I still got scars from it.
Yeah.
And from that, it's very, very hard to be in partnership because no two people see the same. No two people see the same thing. So it's hard.
I mean, it's incredible numbers, right? I'm blown away, Rami, at how much you actually juggle, because you do other things as well, right? It's not just Rashays that you're involved with. Like, there's a lot of, you're working with charities and some community groups and stuff. Are there any that you want to plug or you support?
Matt, look, I'm always around. I'm massive on working with all communities. So here I am, like whether I'm helping out doing a podcast or going to schools, giving talks at schools, or Matt, I enjoy it all. I enjoy people, so I enjoy being with people. That's really.
And how do you choose which initiatives you work with, which charities you work with? Like, does it have to be very personal to you, or you just one that will just, if you've got the time, you'll do it?
Yeah, the one's closest to my house.
That's convenient.
Still in Oxton Park? Still in Oxton Park?
I used to live around the corner from here, actually.
Yeah?
So that's why I made a mistake. No, I'm going to check that.
One of the houses.
On the menu now, what's your favourite meal?
Oh, mate, they're all my favourites, mate.
The $10 schnitzel today, Black Friday only.
It's like asking me which one's my favourite child. They're all my favourites.
Really?
On different days, you have different favourites,
try
right?
different things,
That's right.
Do you taste test the food, Rami?
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, before it comes
So
out.
the last thing I taste tested this afternoon was my mash. We sort of, again, we had a complaint. And this is how serious we are, right? So we had a complaint about the mash that I read yesterday, and something might have gone wrong. So today I went to the executive chef and I said, I want a mash and I want it made straight away and I want this. And sure enough, at 1 o'clock, I think before I left, I had 2 forks and I was there tasting the mash myself, Yeah.
And how do you go about adding new items onto the menu, taking old ones off? Is that final decision with you, or you work with the executive chef?
We work as a team, mate. It's we work as a team. It's all as a team. They come to me with different ideas and we'll decide.
Yeah.
But we stick to who we are. Like what we've learnt about our business is people want what they're used to on the menu.
Yeah.
So as opposed to normal restaurants where they want to have a seasonal menu, we're not that. We're about consistent food all year long, and people want their favourites to be there for years and years and years.
Now, one thing that is in the social media realm at the moment is this Acai wars that's happening. Are you involved in this Acai war? Is that how you got into it, or like do you get into the social media?
Rashays do Acai now?
Do you do a shot?
We do
Yeah.
Acai.
Sucked in.
I haven't seen
He drank
you roll,
the Kool-Aid.
I haven't seen you roll up your pants and do any clips at the moment.
Mate, you know what? We're trying to stay under the radar.
Yeah.
It seems like a bit of a gangster thing out there.
Yeah.
That's not our game, but
Different market. Different market.
I'm not even going to go there. Man.
Hey,
I want to get.
I did a video and I got my nephew to do it. That's funny.
You know what I'm talking
I
about,
got
don't
him
ya?
to challenge him.
let's get back to the business. Because I feel like there's incredible value that we can tap into, and I really want to sort of dig there. In hindsight, business, what mistakes stood out the most that looking back you'd do differently, or that you learned from? Because every business owner.
Trying to grow too quickly.
Okay, paint us a picture. What does that look like?
Okay, so
what's a
So trying to open too many restaurants at once, that's a no-no. You got to always, and you know what? And I knew when I was opening, when I signed so many leases at the same time, when I committed, I knew I was over-committing.
This is gonna hurt.
But what happened was
When you realise you're doing
the
this.
bank balance was good.
Yeah.
And I thought I could pay myself out. I could buy myself out of my problem.
Yeah.
And don't do that, because just grow at a pace that's, be realistic. Don't lie to yourself.
But you are right. When you do have more cash flow and more money in your bank account,
Get creative.
you start thinking, okay,
Excited. You
the
get
marketing,
excited.
yeah. All of a sudden, you've got a marketing budget. Your marketing budget's increased. Then all of a sudden, you go, okay, well, an opportunity's come up. I've been holding on to it.
Yeah.
But you're not you're not putting all those action plans into play that you would do when you're kind of struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
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 See, one of my strengths for a lot of years, before I made that big mistake, which I talked about growing too early, is I never took any sort of I never watched my bank balance. I just let it happen. I let the financial people look after the bank. Once I got involved, I went, oh, I've got that much. Hang on a second. Let me grow.
Okay.
So I made a decision based on what was in the bank, not what was right for the market.
Okay.
You see the mistake I made?
And how important was like working with your professional advisor, like your accountant, your business manager or financial advisor? Did you have people that you work closely with to scale the business, or was it more family?
No. We got professional people. I mean, we deal with accountants. We have a massive accounting firm that works for us, a massive legal firm that works for us. You absolutely, you speak to them and you get their advice as well. But at the end of the day, when it's your business, like at the end of the day, they're there to give you advice for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours. The person who's really going to make the right decision is you. You're the person that's going home and rethinking it and thinking, and running different scenarios in your head, So it's really, it all comes back to you. That's something that I could really...
Do you switch off?
Huh?
Do you switch off? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Judging by that answer, no.
Do you switch off? Do you,
No. Well, we should ask the team. Does he switch off? They don't sleep, so.
Yeah, honestly. Like I see work in my sleep.
Yeah.
Which sucks. You know what I
If
mean?
you think of an idea, are you messaging other people in the team at like all hour?
Man, I'm like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all like, well, I guess how ambitious.
5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, someone...
You have to. You have to do that. You get up and you either make a note or you delegate it out for the next day to someone else to do it. Right?
I got a mate in London. I hope he doesn't hear that. Now, he is a true mate. But I love having him as a mate as well, because if there's no one up in Australia, I can pick up the phone and give him a call.
That's what we're going to
But
do.
he is a mate too, so in case love you, Abba.
So family, when you with your family, do you go holidays? How often do you go holidays? How do you switch off? How do you get a million miles an hour and stay consistent a million miles an hour? Is it coffee, or is it just a consistent, ambitious nature? There has to be a level.
Is there any rituals? Do you have any practices of the day? Like Brad Pitt waking up. Oh, well, not Brad Pitt.
Or ice bath in the morning or
3
something.
a.m. waking up. What is it? Mark Wahlberg. How he wakes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you do anything like
How
that?
do I switch off?
How do you switch on?
Man, kids, like watching them play soccer, watching them play football.
Yeah, it's good.
Playing with them, playing footy with them.
So your daughter just made house captain. So you just.
Hey, he's onto it. He's onto it. Love it, man. We're so proud of her, man.
Yeah.
So
Well, how do you balance all that out? The family, the life with, seeing your children hit their own goals and being part of that versus.
that's my wife's job. So my wife's job is to say, you're not going to work today, or you're coming home at 3 o'clock today. So it's not about me balancing it. It's about being policed by the missus, mate. She polices me, and it's great. It's great. So that's the way it's done.
And she knows when to.
She knows when to put the foot down, mate.
Yep.
She knows when to pull the cane out.
Yeah.
Well, far out. God, we can take this in so many areas.
I know, Rami.
Well, maybe the staffing side of thing is, we talked about the uniform and we talked about the apron. How do you get your head office and the people you work with, your marketing team, how do you choose your staff? Do they have to have a certain values? I think we were talking about this last week.
And team is something that a lot of people struggle with. Just after post-COVID, everyone's just dealing with however spoilt the world got post-COVID and lockdowns and all that sort of stuff. Like, how would you manage that stuff? Like, how would you build
First
teams?
of all, I think when we employ people, we look for culture.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Okay.
It's culture.
What does culture mean to you? Because culture means a lot of things to a lot of people. And
I look for people who are sort of very family orientated, because we're a family business. So there's two different kind of people that you could hire straight away. So if we're going to eliminate them straight away, there's the people that want to go into the corporate world, and there's people that want to go understand the family culture. What's important are family values. And what's important is, because we're a family business, that's the first thing that we look for. Are you going to fit into a family orientated business, are you going to be all right with my little daughter coming in one day and sitting over your shoulder for the whole day? You know, like that's the truth, because that's what happens. You know, are you all right with school holidays with the kids running around the office? You know, that's something that we look for.
Yeah. And talking about, you know, this post-COVID era, has COVID taught you anything in terms of having such, you know, a business focused on people coming into your restaurant? I know you were probably the first to start the food delivery side of things during that time, but have you changed the way you're scaling your business with the potential of something like COVID coming back into play?
It's always in the back of my mind. It's, you know, do I believe something like that could happen, just as bad as COVID? Look, I think we're all entrepreneurs are more open to it. I'm open-minded to it now. Is there anything particular that I do? Not consciously, but I'm sure subconsciously there's always something in the back of my head saying, you know, what if this happens? What if this? So I'm more alert. We're a little bit more on edge, if you
Is
like.
it a state of paranoia?
Yeah.
We talked about this in the last episode. We spoke about this in the last episode. It's like a lot of high performing entrepreneurs have like a small state of paranoia, because it's like you always have to be conscious of being 5 steps ahead because of the
Feeling
paranoia.
like you're going to fail.
Man, tomorrow everything can just go completely weird, and you're the person where the buck stops at.
Yeah.
So you have to make it work, and it's like a lingering paranoia, and that's probably why a lot of us don't switch off, because there's that constant back of mind.
You're spot on, man. You're spot on. All great business people I speak to are all paranoid.
Yeah.
Are all got paranoid problems, and that's what makes them who they are.
Yeah.
Well, maybe let's focus on the COVID side of it. Like when COVID did hit and you were, you know, everyone was going into lockdown, what did you do with your team, or, you know, with your business partners or the franchise owners? What was your first point of going, okay, we need a bit plan?
Oh my God! So I planned it.
It's probably a bad time to think about.
That's all right. I'll tell you the quick version. So what happened was, obviously I started hearing of lockdowns in China. I do a lot of business in China. You know what I mean? I started speaking to the people on the ground there. They said, look, Rami, this is really serious. I remember having my first meeting in late December with my senior management team, and I'm saying, guys, this is serious. I remember it was before Christmas. This is serious. This is going to hit us sooner or later. They laughed. They said, there's no way Australia's going to go into lockdown. I'll never forget that. Anyway, we fast forward till March. The Prime Minister says there's an announcement 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I'm waiting for the announcement now, whether what he's going to decide, right? And sorry, I won't go too much into the story. I'll try and cut as short as I can, but in New Zealand the night before, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, decided that all restaurants and fast food must close.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she closed everyone. But there was a rumour that in Australia that Scott Morrison was going to keep fast food open, which didn't suit me, right? Because I'm a dining restaurant. So what I said was, what's stopping me from saying that I'm fast food and I'm takeaway only? That's what I decided the night before the 11 o'clock address by our Prime Minister ScoMo.
Yeah.
And as soon as ScoMo said, we're going to allow fast food to stay open and restaurants must close, I didn't even wait for him to finish his address. I'll never forget that. And I never shared it with anyone in my office. And I ran down and I said, guys, you know this Facebook thing, how you guys can go live? I didn't even understand social media. And one of the girls goes, yeah, sure. I said, well, go live now. And man, I was scared of the camera. I would not, I'm a very introvert. I'm an introvert, you know? Yeah. And I straight away said, guys, Rashays, the Rashays you know and love is going to stay open. We're a takeaway business now, so get on 13. We've got a great number. Call 13,000 for your order. And my staff just looked at me and went, "How are we going to do this?" I go, "I don't know, but we're going to work it out."
Yeah, but you just needed to get it. You needed to get it on social media.
I wanted to be first.
Yeah.
And we did, and we made the back of house sort of came in. So the back of house, the kitchen people come and cooked.
Yeah.
And the front of house people became our drivers.
Ah,
Do you
nice.
see how it worked?
Yeah, nice.
So kind of like hybrids, basically changing their role to still have a job, to still be paid.
And the IT people jumped on and started
Change the marketing.
and ordering sort of. They started an ordering platform, and away we went.
Was there resistance from the team when you had to shift?
Mate, love it. Great question. I tell you what happened was I'm everywhere, and I got I could see everything and sense everything around me. I saw the staff that dropped their heads and went, "What the F?" we're supposed to be going home now.
Yeah.
And they were unfortunately some of the senior people in my business.
That hurts me hearing that. I'm hearing that, and I
I'm
feel
in the
hurt.
most senior person in my business.
Man, we're relying on you guys.
And I was like, fuck me. And yeah, that wasn't a good feeling. That wasn't a good feeling.
Because it's the people that you thought you could rely on the most were the ones that were actually...
And
First to
turnover,
let you down.
Yeah, and the people that helped me were actually the people who sort of, who saw it as an opportunity for them to grow in their business. So they weren't exactly senior people. So the senior people turned on me, but the people, the junior people thought, man, this is my opportunity to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And we worked together, and thank God we got through it.
Isn't that a beautiful lesson on mindset? Differences in mindset on a person that's like, hey, no, this is where I'm
See it as
calling
an
it.
opportunity.
This is where I'm calling it. Whereas another person will be like, hey, look, this is what I'm going to look at as an opportunity.
It's such a challenging time around that COVID period for all businesses. I mean, restaurants were probably one of the hardest to navigate. I know the beauty industry also got a forced closure. I'm in the fitness industry. We were, forced to shut effective immediately.
You just opened up.
So that same, like Rami said, flashbacks came through where we pivoted. We were on Zoom classes that night, which we were one of the first in this area that actually did that. But you had to, as you were watching this thing implode in front of you, you have a responsibility of making sure you got to make something happen. And a lot of fitness industries and restaurants closed.
Yeah.
They closed, Rami. But
And
yet,
they still closed.
and some did completely, right? Didn't
Well,
want to
some
go
are
back.
still closing, saying that they're still feeling the
Affecting
impacts
from
of
COVID, yeah.
COVID. 2-3 years later, some of the big restaurants that we see as
Became
well.
a survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
100%.
filtering out and then elevating people where they need to step up. I'm going to ask a deep question, a hard question. I feel like this.
And
is
they haven't been, what, for the last ones?
well,
You can tell the difference between the Christian styles.
but this is incredible value, man. And look, okay. And are you ready, Rami?
I'm ready, bro.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Tackle him? What are you...
You've gone through a lot so far, man. You're doing great now. This is the least of your problems. All right, in your eyes, okay, what would a leader have to be like or act like, or what sort of, how should a person show up as a leader to build an empire like what you've built? And I want this to relate to employment. I want this to relate to customers and KPIs and franchisees. What sort of
attributes should a leader have?
Yeah.
Look, I think different leaders have different skills. I don't think one leader is, I think many people could be leaders in different ways. With me, it's, I think, being transparent and leading with my heart. I think that's my strength. I think I share everything with my people and how you guys feel it. Like even when you speak to me, you could feel you could feel my energy. I think that's a leadership that I'll bring to the table.
I don't think anyone can say you don't do anything with your heart because you do what you think is right.
Yeah.
And you can see the passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that gets people invested.
Yeah.
That makes people invested.
The way you stick up for your family, for your business, it's always at the forefront where you don't care about the implications because you're supporting something that you're really passionate about. And you can see like the anger, like you even see that you want to say more, but you're holding yourself back.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a leadership that I lead with. But hey, but not to say that's the only way. I'm big on that. There's different ways.
Course.
There's different ways, right?
Yeah, wowza. So it's like you're going to have people that you're going to have resistance from people on the other side when you're passionate and you're direct. Because sometimes I'm a passionate guy. I feel like I'm a passionate guy.
I feel it.
And sometimes I can get pretty direct about certain situations because I know it's the right way, whether the other person sees it or not. But like when the other person doesn't sort of play ball, how would you work that? In a leadership position. What sort of elements of influence? How would you? Because you know it's right. You're passionate about it. It's like you're being direct because you need to make this work, and it's just having the other person meet you and see what needs to be done. There's resistance on the other side. How would you work that? Because like sometimes people are like, you know what, fuck this, I'm over, or whatever.
I think
other people just want to be on board.
I think that's my weakness, man. If you're gonna ask me, that's probably one of my weaknesses. I'm not good at dealing with it. If you don't, you know what I mean? If you're not going to work with your passion, if you're not going to give everything in the business, I'm very, very weak. I don't allow that to happen in my business. And sometimes I think if I can be better I have to allow it. I have to remember that people have their own life, have their own challenges, have their own, mental health or whatever. It's probably my weakness, mate. I'm very, but like I said, I lead with my heart, and sometimes my heart wins. So, not sometimes, my heart is always,
I can relate to that. I mean, because we are passionate people, especially about your particular business that you've grown, and then there's an underperforming employee. Is that what you mean? Or somebody
Underperforming employees, sometimes it's. I feel like I have really great customers, but a lot of it, of course, is around teams.
Yeah, it's showing a level
it's
of.
the hardest.
so you don't have bad customers.
I can pick out a few here and there, but I'm grateful to say we have good customers. But I also work them very well. He's one of them. And so is he.
Showing a level of empathy, because people are going through certain things, but it's for us, it's we always had that tough love, growing up.
Yeah, man.
We lived in where we live. We grew up where we lived. There's, that's how we were brought up. So we weren't accustomed to that. So now when you have your employee who's dragging the chain, I can relate to what you said. I struggle myself even in that leadership role. Showing that compassion, that's when my wife will come into the business and she shows a little bit of love, because for me it's like fucking tear shit up, like why? Why isn't it like this?
Yeah.
When I know I can do it,
managers.
Yeah.
and these guys have proved they can do it, why aren't you?
I think the important lesson in everything we're saying here is just to acknowledge what your weakness is. We're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
And just to acknowledge where you go wrong is fine.
Yeah.
You're not going to change. Who you are is who you are. And just acknowledge it, just accept it. And like what you said, you got your wife there to support you.
Yeah, it's good.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's a good point, because it's probably the number one problem for most of us, or the bottleneck in the business, is actually staff. Yet I kept looking at this number, Rami, and you got 1,200 plus staff. It's like, fuck, I got 15. Like this, I can't even fathom what that feels like, bro. No, I'll be honest, I can't even fathom what 1,200 staff feels like.
As soon as I start getting up to the 6, 7 mark, I always come back down to 5. Like I've just never, and that's because I'm in the financial advice industry. It might be different, but it just gets a bit too much. And I'm like, do I just want to stay like this, keep it myself, and worry about scaling and then dealing with more?
Well, there's a good question. Do you wake up in the morning sometimes and think, fuck it, I'm selling? Is that
You can't really say that, man. The guy has shareholders and franchisees.
Of course you fucking can. No, of course you can. You can't tell me that that's not on your mind.
Every day?
Yeah, every day. Every day it would be.
I've thought about it about 100 times during this podcast.
Clip it, clip it.
Every business owner thinks that.
No, but it must be on your mind. It's on my fucking mind, for God's sake.
Every business owner, man. It's like when they're dealing with, God. Anyway.
Because you could just check out right now, Rami, and that's it.
But what's what?
But then what would happen? I don't know.
What would you do?
I don't know.
What would you do?
Yeah. If you weren't in Rashays, where do you think you'd be? Would it be food industry? Would it be something else?
Nah, it'll be some sort of business, but it probably wouldn't be.
You always see yourself as a business owner?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't go and work for someone in a mentoring role or something and be a business coach. Everyone's a business coach now. I mean,
Everyone calls me. Everyone's a business coach.
Yeah, I know. But could you do that?
Are you doing that? Are you
mentoring other restaurants?
mentoring others?
I speak to people, but not an official, and I definitely don't get paid for it. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's all those people that I'm, giving sort of guidance to.
Yeah. Why don't we start something with Connect Mentors? You're the first one.
We'll talk to you after the show. No, but that must be on the forefront, or not the forefront, must be in the back of your mind. Obviously, at some point, is that a goal for you to...
Or what's next? Next?
Like what is the 5-year, 10-year plan for Rami?
Where do we see you
You personally, not Rashays, you personally.
Me personally.
Has anyone asked?
10-year plan.
There's no time to think about it. Honestly, man, it's just to make the business as great as I can, leave a nice legacy for my kids, leave my kids with, some sort of,
Is that what you
financial
want
security.
when you're 90 years old, 80, 85 years old?
Yeah, I'm not living that long, but I hear you.
But do you want Rashays to still be around, or by that time when you know it's your time to step away, will you let whoever wants to take over, if they want to sell it, if they want to refranchise, or do you want Rashays to always be around?
No, there's no marriage like that. It's whatever is best for the family or me or whatever at the time. So there is it's whatever is best. There is no hard rule.
How old are the kids now, Rami?
So I got 16, and then I got a 12-year-old and a 11-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah,
Is
so
16-year-old working in the restaurant somewhere? Or?
mate, she was just at the office right now.
Nice.
We asked her to come with us, but she decided she's not driving all the way to Narellan.
Is that your hope for them to step into the business at some point?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Honestly, I just want them to do whatever they want. I see my daughter going to politics, the eldest one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully, the second one be maybe becoming a star socceroo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
The third one, I don't know. God help us.
Yeah.
She's the one that just became house captain.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's good.
God knows, but she'll probably run the world or something. I don't know. And my beautiful 10-year-old boy, mate. I don't know. He's still 10. So
Yeah, he's still young.
I
Yeah.
get through
Still-
things, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, he wants to be a professional soccer manager.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, that's
Or maybe for the purposes of time, we're running up to that hour. Do we want to start just
Well,
the normal questions that
We'll go with Ben's.
all right.
we
let's
just
go.
ask some fast, quick questions. No time to think. Whatever comes to your head.
Yeah, so look, to context this, we like to ask every guest as we wrap up, just some quick, short, sharp, one-liners.
60 seconds.
One-liners.
Let's go.
Ready? So, Rami, beach or country?
Beach.
Nice. First car?
Toyota Corolla.
Best pickup line?
Don't have one.
Yeah, well done.
Been with the wife for a long time.
Favorite sport?
Cricket.
Burgers or wraps?
Burgers.
Bucket list, something you still want to do?
Full moon party.
Hey, I've
Thailand?
done that. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I've done that.
It's great. It's great. Black moon's better, but
Have all three of us done that?
Really?
yeah. I've been to half moon, full moon, black moon.
What's black?
Oh, tell us about that off the show.
It's in the jungle.
Is that like Black Friday?
It's in the jungle, and it's only neon lights, just surrounded by neon lights.
Oh, nice.
It's great.
I'll be tripping out for life.
Yeah. This is a hard one, but good one. Favorite quote?
Don't be upset by something bad that's happening to you right now, because you don't know, but it's for the better. So in Arabic, it's an Arabic verse. So it goes, وَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا فَإِنَّهَا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ.
Nice.
For all our Arabic listeners out there.
I got that.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. And we asked this one, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But, you didn't actually answer. You didn't, because...
I'll tell you what I see myself
Yeah.
in 5 years. Fit, stronger,
Nice.
joining your...
Yeah, Shadowbox membership.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank
it.
you. That's good.
They've got a Black Friday sale at the moment.
That's where I see myself, mate. Fitter and stronger.
Yeah.
Love it, bro.
We got one last question, Rami, and this is the question that we end the show with.
Scared.
We finished the questions. Why are you scared of my questions?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's because I don't think you know your questions before you're asking him.
And he
You're
sets
trying
you
to-
up. He goes,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
I'll get
Stay up,
fucking
man.
nervous.
I don't.
I see the sweat dripping off his beard. Alrighty. So we finish off the podcast with this question, and if you were to pick 3 people to take out to dinner, and these 3 people could be anyone from your current life or from the history of humanity,
Yeah.
who would those 3 people be and why?
All right. Easy. Prophet Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, and my dad.
Hey, nice.
There you go.
That's an interesting one. Yeah,
Rami.
really nice.
Thank you. Really, really appreciate your time. I know we tried to do this several times, but
It was only one other time.
Oh, sorry.
no.
I
Yeah,
was
don't make
trying-
him
I
look
was trying
bad.
to
Don't
be
make
a-
him look.
No, because he's a busy person. I do appreciate.
No, we do appreciate,
the time.
especially coming out to Narellan all the way.
The old stomping ground. But, Rami, it's incredible what you've managed to achieve over your years in business. You've been feeding the community for a long, long time, and you should be super proud of that. We just want to thank you for coming on the show. We definitely will come to the full moon party with you.
Yeah. And I will say, I will also say, just to address the apron controversy, you've worn the apron the whole
Yes.
interview.
Oh yeah.
So if he can wear it the whole interview, I think you can wear it for a
Yes.
shoot.
No excuses.
No excuses. Wear the apron.
Thank you,
Hashtag wear the apron.
Hashtag. Right there.
Thank you, Rami. Thank
Rami,
you
if
for
you
coming
just
on.
look into the camera, let's connect.
If you say, let's connect into the camera.
That would be great.
Let's
One.
connect.
Yeah.
Let's connect, guys.
Yes.
There you go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rami.
Rami.
Well
Thank you
done.
so much, guys. I've really enjoyed
you,
it. Thank you so much. Huh?
We made this a free platform because we want to educate and add value to your business world.
All we ask for as a payment is to hit the subscribe button and share it with people that you know would benefit from this conversation. If you want to elevate your connections, we'll see you at the next Connect MacArthur event.